What's up, friends? Welcome back to another episode of NFT 365. And we are on a journey, my friends. We are on a journey through early adoption. We are on a journey through Web3. We are a journey onto discovering the difference between the NFTs of 2021, the NFT, let's just say, cluster of 2022. And I like to think of the reemergence or the emergence of NFTs in 2023. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are, shifting what our definition of success is. We are better understanding the technologies underneath these different tools. But we also have great projects with great people that are doing great things. And I think that to me is something that excites me in every possible way. And part of that is, how do we understand how projects are built? And I will tell you, it's one of those things that until you launch your first NFT collection, or until you even mint an NFT or create an NFT, it's really hard to understand what goes into it or all the moving parts. And, even I did, for those that listened to the episode last week, I walked everybody through an hour of me creating AI art with Midjourney. And I know a lot of you have commented like, holy hell, now you have like a completely different view of what AI art, creation is. And I think that's kind of the beauty of what we're trying to do here on the podcast. And I will say one of my, when I was thinking about season 2 and saying, okay, what can we learn from season 1? What are the things that we want to bring to the fold? One of them was, imagine if I could come on this journey, bring you along with a great project and a great team that I believe in, that I believe you can kind of go through this entire mission with. And so that's what we're doing here. And of course, I have my co-host back again for this month. And so this is kind of our second foray. I think it's Austen. It's like your 4th time now on the pod, but it's been fun. And so we are going to, we're going to update people. If you listen to the first one where Austen kind of set the stage on what the Galactic Gaylords NFT project is, talked a little bit about lessons learned, good, bad, ugly, the journey. And now we're going to update you on kind of where we've gone to, today. And I just kind of set the stage for everybody. I am advising and on a number of different projects, right, that I'm helping launch. And a lot of them are in different phases. And one of the things that I've highlighted now in the last couple of calls I've had with a couple other projects was just the sheer real commitment to staying true to what matters of a project, but also like the empowerment of story, the empowerment of marketing 101 or marketing as a whole, but also that bigger picture. And almost every time I'm going to this project. So Austen, I first have to tip my hat to you and the team. I know we're getting closer to a big launch, which we'll give people update on, but you guys have been putting in the work. I get to see all the Discord notifications. I get to see all the things that are happening, and there is a ton of work going on, but I also know there's a ton of excitement. So update us where we're at, give people a little bit of a picture, and then we'll kind of get into some other things we want to talk about.
Yeah. Hey, Fanzonians. Is that what you call them? Are they Fanzonians?
I don't think we have a name for them yet, but yeah, I'm not sure if they'll go for that one. But in Armchair Expert, they call, I like the idea of coming up with a name. I think it's a good idea.
We've been coming up with funny names for the people who live on our planets. So it just felt fitting. We can stick with it or not. But everyone, I'm Super Gay Dad, Austen, please, or we're all friends. You can call me Daddy. But yeah, I'm the founder here at Galactic Gaylords, our NFT, not project, a brand, as we've talked about in the past. We're building something really big, and NFTs are our launching spot for that. So on the last call, I talked about our quiz, and I'll give a quick update here. The quiz is awesome. People are loving it and enjoying it, really jumping into the lore of our galaxy. But from a business perspective, it's also top of funnel. It allows us to collect information on our potential customers. And sometimes people think that collecting information is a bad thing, or you're stealing my personal information. But in our case, what we're doing is we're figuring out what planets you match with. And if you match with the yellow planet, we want to give you a tailored customer experience and send you emails that relate to people on the yellow planet. So it's really us creating a customer journey for you, and less of us taking your information and trying to do nefarious things with it.
Well, I love that you updated us on that. And I will say, when I talk about storytelling within projects, within NFTs, especially, one of the things is like how committed are we to the story, right? And I would challenge everyone that's listening to this to just go check out the quiz alone, right? Go to the website, check out the quiz alone, because I love like just the narrative, right? It's not too long, it's not too short. But you also did a great job, and I also think one of the things you mentioned there, and I think that's important. There are moving parts in this whole ecosystem, and I think one of the biggest mistakes, if I had to look back in the last 2.5 years of NFTs, is that we did not take enough responsibility for being the stewards of communication with our holders. And so, I mean, I know for me, a lot of projects, I miss updates, I miss free perks. I was laughing. I went to my Discord over the weekend, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna like kind of clean up my Discords. Get this, 5 different servers that I had in my like kind of active list had actually changed away from Discord. They went to a different tool. I wasn't aware of it, and I hadn't even gone to their Discord. So I went to their Discord and it said, I had just had one announcement: server has moved. And I was like, I'm not even aware. Like how I mean, I spent, especially with one of the projects, I spent $1,900 on that NFT, and the fact that like there's like, it goes twofold, right? Like I hadn't gone into the Discord, but they hadn't captured any way to communicate with me. And I will just tell everybody, as a holder, if you say, hey, I want your email because I want to give you more updates and keep you in the loop for what you purchased, 10 out of 10, I'm going to sign up for that, right? Like every single time. So I'm glad you brought that up. And I do think you've done it in such a creative, fun way. Like seeing what your results are of the email is a great way too. And I think that's also going to give people kind of a taste of what they have to come in the project. So, kudos on that, and excited to hear kind of that it's not only continue to get momentum, but people are really kind of customizing their experience with how you guys are communicating.
Yeah, and to touch on the talk of communication there, I think it's ever evolving in Web3. Right now, the Web2 means of communication, primarily email, it works best right now. And you might not like getting a ton of emails in your inbox. I know I don't. But if you've signed up for something and you've paid for something and you want to be a part of it, then you actually end up looking for those emails. So, I mean, that's how I feel with the other projects I'm in, and just what you expressed as well.
Yeah, and I think it's like one of those balances. And I love it. You even said it, like collecting data isn't a bad thing, right? Because, and I think it has such a weird, balance for people, because I mean, the truth of the matter is, if you improve my experience, you save me time, and you give me information where I want it, when I want it, how I want it, like take my data, right? The problem has been taking the data, not knowing what we're doing it, and not improving our experiences. But that also goes into storytelling, right? And I know how important storytelling is for this project. I love the commitment to storytelling from every aspect, right? From understanding the different worlds to understanding, even the storytelling from we've talked about here on the first time. We also have to understand there's different audiences, right? You're going to have audiences that understand Web3. You're going to have Web2 audiences. You're also going to have you're going to have an ally audience as well as a gay audience to kind of approach different topics. So you need data, but you also have to really understand that storytelling. Talk to me a little bit more about like kind of that commitment to storytelling that you guys have, and kind of how that's kind of unfolded.
That's a great question, and it's something that we are so bullish on, as you know, Brian. Our whole project is about storytelling. We're doing a very unique launch and unique mint that, instead of just launching for the sake of launching, we've created a story, and we travel from planet to planet in the super gay galaxy and release a portion of the full collection per planet. So the first planet we have coming up is really the origin of the Galactic Gaylords. And not gonna lie, it's a little like saddening, and even it makes me a little mad to read it, because it talks about the near future, which almost feels like it could be a reality, which is super scary. But we're calling it the binary era, and it's just where the world moves towards maximum efficiency and gets rid of the ability for people to express themselves outside of binary boxes. So everyone is either male or female. If you're a male, you're expected to be a leader. If you're a female, you're expected to be feminine. And these things, I find them infuriating, but I think it gives us such a great starting point for the origins of Galactic Gaylords and why they wanted to leave this binary era and go create a universe where people can be their true selves.
I I feel that in your story, and I feel that in that narrative, and it makes me infuriated as well, right? And I think we talk a lot about not only busting norms and stereotypes, but also biases. But I also love in the project and in the collection as a whole, we're taking people on a journey, right? So there's the different worlds people are going to mint, but everything is done very with expressed intention. So I think this is a really great taste into storytelling. I think we're gonna play a little clip here of what's to come in the storytelling of the binary world.
Yeah, let's do it. Don't get don't get too angry, everyone. It is, like I said, it can be a little infuriating, but that is the point of it, and that's the origin of the story. So let's go.
Society had split into factions. Governments were dismantled. Nuclear war broke out and the human race was decimated. The ones with the power, the ones with the bombs, the ones with the privilege, they thought they won. These powers took over a newly weakened population and devoted their efforts toward efficiency, claiming this would protect the Earth from war, scarcity, and extinction. Diversity and originality were blamed. After all, diverse minds have opinions. Opinions create dissent. The ones in power elected the perfect human to lead their world, their nation, toward maximum efficiency. The president banished anyone who was deemed different. Where did they go? It was a mystery to everyone but him. The people who aligned with his expectations were forced to work in service of the nation, suppress emotion, and obey, no matter what. Art and music was banned. All colors besides black and white were banned. Gender was restricted to man or woman. Women were to be obedient and feminine. Men were to be leaders, masculine. Men were to be with women and women with men only. Love is inefficient. Repopulation is the only priority in couplings. This time is now known as the binary era, which demonized differences and exalted efficiency. But the president did not know about the secret meetings and gatherings of like-minded individuals who rejected these imposed ideals of society. These individuals, he's, she's, and they's, continued to believe that our differences, our emotions, and our love for one another make us who we are. These things are what bring us happiness. This secret society came to call themselves the Gaylords. The Gaylords met secretly in different undisclosed locations. Their emblem of freedom, a feather, was engraved on coins that they carried. Not only for good luck, but also so they were able to identify each other safely. For if you did not have the coin, you could be a spy, or worse, one of the president's army. Humanity continued to suffer from its decimation, and the president ordered an extensive cloning effort to repopulate. And the president chose only the humans he considered ideal subjects. The president, of course, chose his own son, Nitsua. But the president did not know that his son was one of the leaders of the Gaylords, and when the president cloned him, he would inadvertently grow their secret society by thousands.
Oh wow! All right, that's a good taste there of the storytelling. You set the stage right for what's to come. Austin, you set that for me as far as how that storyline not only it's within the brand, but really sets the stage for the greater mission of the project. And also I think it's a great reminder for all of us to kind of think about some of these aspects, right? And I mean, we don't want to in our society, or at least I hope that all of our listeners, agree with us on that. But yeah, break that down for us a little bit.
For sure. So I think the story is, like you said, it sets the stage for the entire galaxy, which is amazing. But I also feel like we are so fortunate to know our target audience so well that we can write stories that emotionally resonate with them. And that's the purpose of storytelling. One of the reasons I think we're good at that is because we are our target audience, which makes us be able to create content for ourselves. And in doing so, we're creating content that will resonate with the target audience of our project.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, that's such an important point, right? And I think, having that persona and recognizing it internally, externally, recognizing how you're kind of writing that, kind of stage. I also think it's important to also kind of allow those that maybe, aren't able to set themselves in the exact footsteps to be able to resonate with the story, right? Like I got goosebumps twice just in that idea of like, that, men and women are only here to procreate, right? And that idea that, masculine is men and feminine are women. And just that, like that concept, I think for me is such an interesting, like it's such an important aspect that will help people kind of see where everything goes on there. And I know that also is an extremely important aspect of, for the queer community and kind of that bigger message that you're going with as a whole as well.
Yeah, I think that obviously the queer community has definitely felt this, whether it's coming out or whatever it may be. It's definitely better, but it's not easy. And there are places in the world where it is punishable, even by death, which we need to move away from. That's so insane to me. But I think that everyone can find a message in this as well. Everyone has felt like they didn't belong at one point or another. And in the last podcast, we talked about my personal journey story on my blog and imposter syndrome. And I think that's something that a lot of people experience. I think it's common. I don't think a lot of people are willing to talk about it. And maybe that's why there isn't as much out there about it. But it's definitely something we all experience. And I feel like this story resonates with anyone who has ever felt like they've been put in a box.
Yeah, I completely agree. That idea of being put in a box, or even just the labels that we were grew up with that, that were just, instilled in culture that we didn't even recognize as what they like overall impact, right? Like I mean, for me growing up, like it was like real men don't cry, real men don't wear pink, right? And like, and I, I'm very loud and proud that I am a very emotional, man. And I am, my favorite color is pink. I know we share that, Austin, and just in that, like our love for pink, even within like the brand colors of this podcast. And I think like, there's also just this element of like, how do we can't really help people shift perspective in a story unless we kind of level set and bring everybody up to like a common baseline, right? Which I think is such an important aspect of the storytelling that you kind of shared there. I also love that, like, I mean, wow, kudos to the storyteller as well, right? We had to give a shout out because like, there's something beautiful about, audio. I'm such an audio fan, but I just love that clip that we played because I think that also kind of goes into this idea of like, when someone listens to that, there also are kind of allows them to kind of transform into their own journey and kind of where they're going. So I'm curious, like as your audience, as you're writing that story, how else have you kind of looked at as far as like pinpointing that target audience, making sure that target audience is represented, and also making sure that you're kind of hitting that broader mark that you want to hit?
So bringing it back to the NFT aspect and the binary, I love that you brought up some of those quotes that you've heard growing up. Boys don't cry, boys don't wear pink. That is a way we want to tie the story into the NFTs as well. So for this binary drop, there are only 101, and it is for kind of our true fans, the people who have supported us from day one, and we're giving those out by personal invites. But one cool thing we're doing is we're adding those quotes that we have all heard growing up that keep you from finding things that make you happy or finding your happiness. For us, it's the color pink. You had mentioned, I didn't even know that was an option for me as a favorite color. So until a year ago, I swear I didn't have a favorite color. I would move from green to blue to whatever other colors depending on the day. But there was something that clicked a year ago and I was like, oh, like pink is pretty cool. I really like it. I don't know why. I never thought that it could be my favorite color. So now it is. And it's just those little things that we've heard. So we have a channel in our team Discord, so not the public one, but we've been writing quotes that we've heard growing up. And it makes me sad to read some of these things that we've heard and that have influenced us throughout our entire life. For example, the color, not thinking we had those options until so much later in life. So it's a tough channel to read, but there is a lot of thought going into these NFTs to tie them to the story. And I can promise that a lot of cute cat gifs were sent in that channel as well, just to pick up the mood a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's also important when a project is also appealing to an audience, but also setting a stage. But also, I think when we think about movements, I made this very clear that the NFT space, the Web3 space, needs this project as much as this project is going to launch into the space, and a lot of it kind of it can be impacted in a number of different ways. And my 9-year-old daughter, right, as a cis white male, my 9-year-old daughter had told me, it was a couple of weeks back, that she came home and she's like, Daddy, one of the kids in my class was laughed at because he said that and it was a boy, that he said he was like, well, I like pink, but boys don't like pink. And my 9-year-old daughter said, wait, no, my dad loves pink and he even wears pink shoes on stage in front of hundreds of people, as my daughter told her friend. And I was like, it was like so much pride for me. And like, we have no idea how that will impact that, the boy that she said it to, but also the entire classroom, right? Like just that piece. And so I think a lot of these things, as tough as it might be to read for some people, it's a lot of our excuses for far too long was we weren't exposed to certain things, or certain things weren't in our day-to-day lives. But we've learned this across everything from race to sexuality, that the excuse of not being exposed to things is no longer okay, right? And we have to be willing and open to like look at these things, understand them. But we also have to recognize, if I can put my shoes or my feet in someone else's shoes and understand some of the nuances, then I will also be able to understand, move more things moving forward, which I love, like the binary collection being kind of handpicked, the one of one. And just for all those that are out there from an NFT perspective, right? I'm a big believer in being, intentional with, how you're rolling out, right? And we said this in the first one, but I think it's also equally important. This project, when I heard about it in the summer of last year, the idea of launching in a month or two was there, right? Like it's very much was in the runway. It wasn't out of question, but there were so many other things that were taken into account and that were added and were also kind of factored in, that even like this launch, like most people would have said, well, drop your initial 100 immediately. They're your super fans. They're gonna be on there. But you've been so intentional as a team to kind of make sure that, hey, all these moving parts are going to be in a great position for us to move forward. And I just think it's an important highlight, because I've seen a lot of other projects do it, even though they do kind of like that exclusive drop at the beginning of their super fans. They've done it so haphazardly that they actually don't even leverage those super fans or give them a full experience. And I'm speaking that for an example. Like there's a couple NFTs that I hold that I felt gypped as the person that got it early, because I didn't get the full experience of the project. And so I love that is like so intentional, and that's coming up here in a month, and that people are going to start getting their hands on the art and getting more into the community and all of the things that come as well.
Yeah, very well said. Thanks, Brian. We definitely appreciate that. And your guidance has helped us get there as well, of course. But we just want to reward those people who have been here with us for a full year. Like you said, it was last summer when you heard about us. We could have launched, we had the potential to launch, but at that point, we were a project. And I love the delineation we've made between project and brand. And we talked about it in the last podcast, but just moving more towards a brand and creating steps for longevity, as opposed to selling out during a bull market, which would be awesome. But then what's your trajectory? Where are you going? Have you spent the time to know your target audience? What are you going to give them in the future? What are your future revenue streams? Just all of those things that I'm so happy we've taken the time to understand, and also reward our early adopters. So with this personal invite binary NFT project, there is a randomized trait that will give each holder a free NFT on a specific planet when we get to that part in the story. So this is really the only like deal / bonus, and it's for rewarding those people who have believed in us, interacted with us on socials, or talked with us at NFT NYC and really gave us perspective on how we should pivot and how we should move as a project.
I love that. And that also dials back into what we were just talking about as far as knowing your target audience, understanding, people, and also, onboarding that group in initially. You're gonna be able to work out some kinks that are in the in the actual delivery. You're gonna have additional questions that people are gonna ask. And just for those that are listening so far, we said this in the first one, and I would love for those that are listening, if you have questions for Austen or the team or the project, or even myself on working advising on the project, please hit us up on any of the social channels and send us the questions. We'll add them to next month's episode as well. We are doing this each of these months as we go through it. So we're kind of, now we're teasing up to the launch, and now for the next time that Austen comes on and joins us, there will be NFTs in people's hands, that the brand will be kind of emerging into what would be the next phase. But as far as like understanding the demographic, knowing your audience, I know there's members of the team that might have a better understanding of what's going on and kind of how those work. Set the stage for us on that side.
So when you're trying to find out your target audience, like I said, for us, it's maybe a little easier because we are our target audience. So that's always a great way to build a brand or a product. And I mentioned on the last podcast that I'm in the e-commerce space. So I have built a couple physical product brands as well. And one thing that I love to do, and it may sound silly to a lot of people, is to think about the brand I want to build or the product and sit down with a pen and piece of paper and create, invent, imagine a character or a person who is your 100% ideal customer. And without a shadow of a doubt, they will buy your product or join your community or whatever it is that's your value proposition. But get into it. Give them a first name, give them a last name, give them a middle name if you want, give them an accent. Like, honestly, really, really get into it. I go as far as giving them a family or not a family. Also figuring out what their education level is, what their salary range is. Because by doing all of that and taking the time up front, you have this kind of like rubric or idea of what your customers should look like. And then from there, you can build lookalike audiences and look for some of those attributes that you've created in this totally imagined character, but it gives you direction going forward. So I'm not someone to give homework, but I'm going to give a homework to everyone listening. If you're building anything at all, go give this exercise 30 minutes and it will give you so much clarity. I promise.
I love that. I've done it with every podcast that I've ever done. I have, for this one, I will just tell Riley is the name of the persona that I had built. And I did the same thing that you did, right? Broke down every aspect of who they are, what their age was, what are the things they care about, the things they don't care about. And that persona from season 1 to season 2 has also changed because Riley has changed. We have changed. The space has changed. So I love that practice, that exercise, right? And I think it's important for us to be able to, like, this goes into my whole pitch on if you don't define success, how would you ever measure success, right? And if you don't define or understand the ideal persona and the person that you're speaking to, how the hell would you ever be on mark, right? You won't be. And those are all things that I think far too often we miss or overlook or underestimate. So I love that. And I love that kind of in that sense. I think, are we going to bring in, I think we have another clip that we're going to play kind of set that up.
We do. And speaking of invented characters and someone who knows our target audience better than anyone, we do have a reporter here from the Super Gay Galaxy who's going to join us, but his latest Rizer report came out and I'd love for us to play that. And then we'll get him on here to introduce himself and you can ask him some questions about the Super Gay Galaxy and get some flavor for what we're creating.
Hi there, all you gays, fays, and theys. It's your favorite gossip columnist, Rizer Rainbow, here with the juiciest news from around the Super Gay Galaxy. After many years of absence, a mysterious pod of galactic whales has been spotted entering the galaxy. These whales are legendary and known for their powerful and mystical abilities. Their appearance has sparked great curiosity and excitement among the inhabitants of the galaxy, but what does it mean? This pod has been seen traveling towards 2D Cluster, leading many to speculate that the whales have come to help the inhabitants of 2D Cluster adapt and thrive in their harsh environment. Curiously, whales have also been spotted near Valco Thrust, the orange planet. It's believed that the whales may be drawn to the planet's fiery energy and may be able to help its inhabitants channel their emotions and creativity in a more balanced way. I mean, we could all use a little help in that department, right? As the pod continues to travel through the galaxy, many are eager to see where they will go next and what impact they will have on the planets and inhabitants they encounter. The appearance of the galactic whales is truly a magical and exciting event across the galaxy, and gossip is flying as fast as the whales themselves, and you all know that I love gossip. Again, this is Rizer Rainbow saying keep it fierce, keep it fabulous, and don't settle for anything less than fuchsia. Until next time.
Rizer, welcome. So excited to have you here.
Hi, gays, fays, and theys. It's so great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us.
I'm excited for Fanzo here to ask you some questions about the galaxy. I mean, you've traveled it. You probably know more about what's going on as a gossip columnist than anyone else. So I'll let you two get to it.
Girl, you don't even know. Hit me with the questions.
I'm excited to hear that. I guess the first question in this idea of, traveling pods and understanding the galaxy movements, like how do you stay tapped in to know where everything is going in this wild galaxy?
Listen, this place is huge and it is vast. And there is a whole bunch of people like me that are out there just like telling the stories and giving the info. Like, seriously. We also have some really advanced telecommunications devices and things like that, things that truly you couldn't understand, and I wouldn't even know where to begin to help you. But more than anything, we're all about connection in the Super Gay Galaxy. So we're always connected. We try to stay in touch with everybody, no matter how far away, because we believe we're all family.
I love that. We are all family, and I like that idea of that in the Super Gay Galaxy. In Web 1, Web 2, let's just say gossip and drama live all day long. Some people that maybe don't realize Web 3 is like gossip drama headquarters for so much that goes on. Anyone that's in Twitter knows that. How does that gossip world exist in the Super Gay Galaxy?
I mean, it exists in the way that like people want to know what their neighbors are up to and people want to know stuff, but it's not like nobody's saying bad stuff about each other because nobody got time for that here.
That sounds like a much better galaxy and world than the Web3 Twitter world that I'm playing in. That's for sure. Because I think people forgot like that basic principle of like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. I feel like they do a lot of the opposite there. I guess the last question I have for you, or the other question I have for you, as far as the galaxy as a whole and everyone kind of, getting along, but also learning from, the world around us, what excites you the most of things that you're hearing in the galaxy?
Well, I'm really excited the most about how wonderful our whole galaxy has been about accepting all of these refugees from Earth and other places in those binary galaxies. I mean, seriously, it's been a scary thing for them, and to have a soft place for them to land, I'm really proud of the rest of our galaxy for being so open.
I mean, that sounds like a great place to be. I mean, Austen, I think this is, having someone like Rizer Rainbow knowing your galaxy and knowing your audience. I think that's a big leg up that you guys have.
And we're so fortunate that the glitter communication is working right now, and Rizer was able to hop on this call and answer some of your questions.
I'm really happy to be here, but you know what? I got to go get that glitter, girl.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Rizer, and thank you for popping in. And I'm sure we'll hear more from Rizer maybe in some future episodes as well. I love the mission. I love the message. Austen, I know you're preparing for everything that comes with kind of getting NFTs in first people's hands. I love seeing all the art, all of these last minute additions. Give people a taste of like what you're excited about right now. And then they'll have to tap back in next month for the update as we continue on this journey.
Yes, definitely. A couple things I'm excited for. Firstly, we heard a bit about the Galactic Pod and the Galactic Whales. That's a really fun side story we have going, and an Easter egg that can be found on each planet for people who have bought in as a whale. So our whale pass is only available until we drop our binary collection, which will be on February 15th. And this pass will give people an NFT from every single planet, as well as a bonus NFT. So it's really a pre-sale for everything. And to date, I think we have 7 or 8 whales, which is absolutely amazing for people to believe in our project that much that they're buying all of the NFTs up front. But it is also a deal for them with airdrops and with the added value that we'll be giving. So that's one thing I'm excited for, just rewarding those people for believing in us. One other thing you mentioned is the onboarding of communities and kind of streamlining things. And we've talked about this before, that being a queer NFT is kind of niche on niche, which makes it difficult to get your audience. So we're working with So Fresh for our development, and they're gonna get a social wallet going, which means it's a wallet that you can mint to, that you use your email to log into. And it's really a 2-step process for us. Of course, this isn't the most optimum and encrypted wallet out there, but with email flows, what we intend to do is to onboard people who have an NFT then into their own encrypted wallet. So I'm really excited that we're taking that kind of half step, and it might be more work to onboard people later on, like through the process, but it's better than throwing everything at someone completely new at once. So that's something that I think we're doing a little different that is exciting as well.
No, I think that is essential, right? And like you said, not only a niche within a niche, but also, just a level set for everyone that's out there, right? This is the same steps that Starbucks is taking with their NFT project, the same steps that Nickelodeon did with their project, Hello Kitty did with their project, right? For those that listen to the podcast, they're no very familiar. We did 2 drops on Nifty Gateway, and the beauty of Nifty Gateway very much aligned with what Austen has said here with what we're working with So Fresh, is that idea of having that kind of like hybrid wallet, this 2.5, where it prevents people from having to kind of deal with the crypto world, the seed phrase nonsense that a lot of things overwhelm people, but it also gives them a step closer to then get them into that wallet, right? Because we know that is the end goal. We know that the advantages and the benefits that are there are essential. But I also think it's important that if that gap of adoption is so big that we're losing out on so many great people, then we're doing nobody a service, right? So I love that you're kind of taking that on as a team, and it is going to be more work and more tickets and more handholding. But I think it is essential for us to kind of grow, especially when your project is so niche down and so focused on the audience. But with that being said, you don't have to be a fully member of the queer community to be a part of the project and the brand, which I also love, that this is kind of opening the doors for so many to be a part of just this powerful movement.
Yeah, of course not. Everyone is welcome. You read our frequently asked questions, which were all in character and will be released soon on our minting page. But we talk very clearly there about wanting everyone to feel accepted and that we're all family here that supports each other. I mean, Rizer even touched on that. The Super Gay Galaxy is all about family and connection.
Which I can't say. I think that we all can agree that we need more of that in our lives, our digital lives, our Web3 lives, our offline lives. So, Austen, thanks again. This was fun to get another update. Exciting times. You and I have been texting, and I can sense the excitement even in the texts back and forth because the team has put in so much work. I know how much work you've put in there, Austen, and to just know, like, I remember Discord comments when you were listening to the podcast and your excitement, like, what if I launched a project? I wonder what this might look like in this space, and to know that we're on the cusp of that kind of coming to life. For me, I'm excited for you, excited to be part of the team, and excited for the update next month, because we're going to have a lot of things to kind of keep people up to date with. And for those that are interested, make sure you do follow that along. We'll have the links in the show notes as well, and go take the quiz. I think just from an understanding of that kind of component, I mean, you've heard some of these really creative clips on storytelling. There's exciting times ahead. So Austen, I'll let you kind of wrap it and send us on our way for this episode.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, go take that quiz. It's also your entry point to be able to mint on the other planets that do come out over time. So make sure you're on there so we can get you emails and let you know what is going on in the Super Gay Galaxy. And our drop date for the binary is February 15th. So it's coming up. We are super excited. Yeah, we've been building for a while and we cannot wait to release. Again, I had mentioned that those are by personal invite only. So if you haven't, go interact on our Twitter, go talk to us on Instagram, repost something. It'll give you a chance of getting one of those invites, and keep your DMs open because we will be sending them via social media wherever you connect to us.
Sliding into the DMs to bring people into the super gay galaxy sounds like a perfect way to lead into the month of February as well. So for everybody listening, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback. Like I said, questions you might have for Austen and the team as they're kind of launching this brand, which has the NFT component. Feel free to hit us up. And until next month, we'll be back then. Cheers, everybody.